morning, good afternoon, good evening, in whichever part of the world that you are, and welcome to Learnamytes, where learning is for all and all that we do is for learning. In the first episode last week, we saw the formation of AERF under the able leadership of our guest, Dr. Archana Godbole, and in today's episode, we're going to continue and understand how has AERF reached and it has become a name to reckon with, a force to reckon with. What I thought after seeing the last episode was that this was a personal journey of Dr. Godbole, and she spoke a lot about, uh, how does a youngster face all the challenges? What are uh, the opportunities that lie ahead of you? How does one go about it? About mindset. And yes, of course, since we are celebrating this month of March as our hashtag Shakti initiative at Learnamytes, she also spoke about uh, somewhere about women empowerment as well. So, with all this, I welcome all of you for the second episode. So, please like and share this video as much as you can, and please subscribe to the Learnamytes channel. So, let's begin with our chat with Dr. Godbole. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was great knowing the formation of AERF and of course your journey as a youngster till being a subject matter expert or being that force to reckon with. But I would also like to know that what exactly or what is the kind of work, what is that amazing body of work that AERF has done, which has made it a force to reckon with.
Yeah, thank you, Girish. And it's nice to talk to you again and give more stories. I think with the initial success of work on sacred groves conservation and some failures of making that into a government project or something like that, we realized that the issue in front of us is really big, and issue in the northern western Ghats is that of privately owned forests and lack of legal protection to the forest. And we thought that doing conservation of sacred forests here and there is good, but it's not going to save the forests at landscape level, because any poor farmer can sell his wood and get money. And after 5 years, he again sells the same thing, and then if he continues these cycles for 3 times, then the whole area becomes degraded, and you cannot, get the forest again. So we thought that let's start hitting this wall. That how we will encourage and have the poor farmers who are cutting the forest on our side. So we initiated a incentive program where straight away we started talking to people and tell them that instead of cutting the forest and getting money out of that, we will give you the similar amount of money.
Sure.
And then you have to enter into an agreement with us, so that in next 5 or 10 years of agreement for not cutting the forest, uh, we will demonstrate that your standing forest will bring money to you.
Sure.
We did a pilot of this program in 2007 and 8, and we did some good agreements of 100 acres. Those agreements were in place till 2013, and again we were having more experience than what we were in 1995. Uh, but still, it is not easy to make a forest remunerative in 5 years.
Sure.
So when the first agreements were over, we thought that now people will say thank you very much, we're going to cut the forest. But they said, we realize and we know that nothing happens in 5 years.
Sure.
So let's do it again. And they negotiated the remuneration, the incentive part of that. Um, Same time, our team increased a little bit. Jayan joined full time, and he has taken the responsibility to start our networking with corporates, because it's easy to say that I'll give you money, don't cut your forest, but then you need to bring that money.
Sure.
So simultaneously we started working on getting the corporates through the corporate social responsibility programs into forest conservation. It was very tough to make them understand that we are not planting trees or we are not doing environmental education. But slowly companies like Daikin, companies like Credit Suisse, they understood what we are trying to do, and they have supported. They have been supporting a program of forest conservation, and then there are a lot of other foundations and stuff they also were supporting.
Sure.
So fundraising for this was a completely different side. Fundraising for this was also a different side, and we were working constantly on that through our networks and stuff. So we realized that even if we have the agreements for 10 years, we now need to demonstrate, show, test, and show people that your forest is getting money to you. So if you look at the general understanding of conservation at international conservation organizations level, or the companies and those who are polluting and polluters will pay principle and all that was happening on international level, slowly people realize that we need to develop ideas, bring them into reality where businesses will be linked to biodiversity. And it is not just giving grants to foundation like AERF for conservation, but to see that what business could be developed based on the forest, and that will get money, so that after 10-15 years AERF or that company need not be in the picture, and people, because of that direct benefit, will save the forest. So it was a great idea, and we started working on this idea.
Sure.
And in the initial period, we got the support from Pakka Herbs, which is an international company dealing with herbal teas, and they looked at our sacred forest, our forest, and they have seen lots of trees of hirda and behda. And we all know that hirda and behda are the major ingredients of Triphala, which is an Ayurvedic preparation. And they were making some tea preparations, infusions in UK. So they said, if you have a great conservation story around that, because quickly I'll give you the conservation story in this is the Great Hornbills, which are the majestic birds, they build their nests on old growth Terminalia bellerica trees, and these Terminalia bellerica trees are there in the sacred forest, Devrahattis. And why Great Hornbills? Not just because they are majestic, but they are called as forest farmers because they eat seeds, and once the seeds are passing through their alimentary canal, the regeneration happens in the forest. And this kind of natural regeneration through natural agents is important in northern Western Ghats, where there is no legal protection to forest, nobody is going and planting forest. So these natural agents, these gods, farmers, carriers, they are doing the job.
Correct.
So when we discussed this story with Pakka Herbs CEO Sebastian Pohl, he got interested, and he said, we are interested in buying these powders, these fruits from you, but then you'll have to get them certified. And this certification called Fair Wild certification is a very stringent certification. Every year you have to do audit, you have to talk to communities, you have to engage with them, you have to share the benefits and profits and train them. It should be ecologically sustainable, it should be socially just, and it should be economically just also. So then slowly we build a program of developing an enterprise around Beda fruits in Konkan, in Ratnagiri, because this area is full of Beda trees. And then similar enterprise we developed around Hirda trees in Bhima Shankar.
Okay.
So these two real conservation stories, and when businesses they understand, I'm very happy to tell here that Pakka Herbs has got a small sketch of Great Hornbill on all their tea boxes.
Wow.
And these tea boxes are very famous in Europe and also in US.
Wow.
So our story is there, and they partnered with us, and so in 2012 to 2014 we tested this approach, we tried to talk to communities, and by 2016 we got our first certification, Fair Wild certification. And then we realized that if we really want to do business and get money to people, we need to scale this up, or it can't be reached, remain at demonstration level. So from 2016 onwards, we got more and more sacred forests and forest under conservation agreement under our certified areas. And it's a very complicated process. Somebody, I wrote in one of the books on sacred groves, somebody said that AERF adopted a different policy for protection of sacred groves, And then I said, what? You could have, said that what policy was that. But it's a hard work, and it's really 24 by 7 work
Absolutely.
with communities, with forests, with people, with international organizations, with your international buyers, with organic certifying bodies. So anyway, so we have done all that, and now AERF, I'm very happy to tell here that Applied Environmental Research Foundation and the actual operating company Nature Connect India Private Limited is the only duo in India which has got Fair Wild certification for these two products, natural products. And now we are also trying to bring in more products
Sure.
like Pongamia oil, then Mahua oil, because these are also wonder medicines, and after the pandemic there is a huge demand for these products. And then we are expanding our work around the businesses into other parts, like in parts of Sindhudurg, in eastern Maharashtra, and in the process, people's faith in us is also increasing.
Absolutely.
Because now people are getting incentives, people are getting more price for their Hirda and Beda fruits which they collect. Then we have this green enterprise where the local women, they get employment for at least 4 to 5 months in destoning, cleaning, drying, making powder and packaging and everything. And now we are also planning to launch few more products based on our work on these green enterprises with local people. And I think it was a great journey to understand, because one thing I would like to emphasize here is our genre is that of a NGO.
Yeah.
It is very hard in the beginning for us to think of profits, but then we realize that unless you create profits, you cannot
Sure.
share that profit with the local communities.
Absolutely.
And then once you, whatever organization you are, an NGO or a business, once you are in the competitive world, you have to be very, very professional.
Absolutely.
And I think even being an NGO, we were absolutely professional right from day one. And that professional attitude and understanding was important for us to reach where we are today. So, within last say 10 years from 2012 till 2022, we have really crossed many, many barriers, and we could not only demonstrate that standing forest can bring money to you, but we scaled up our approach, and we are sharing the real benefits, real monetary benefits to the local communities. And I think I'm very happy, to say that over the period of time, in say from 2008 till date, we have now secured 8,500 acres of privately owned forests and linked them to such kind of green enterprises. And we have secured this forest till 2032. And we are targeting, to secure up to 15,000 acres of forest. And we are now working in through this program in 25 villages. Then our number of beneficiaries of this enterprise-based work is also increasing day by day. So I think it's a very interesting journey, and you don't have any shortcuts.
Absolutely.
If you are in the competitive world, you have to face the competition. You have to learn at every stage, and there is no shortcut. So
Absolutely.
I think, and I'm very happy that over the period of time we got lot of great youngsters who shared our vision, who supported us, and who actually also started sharing our passion. And what else you want,
Exactly.
after running an organization for 28 years, if you have at least 5 people who are sharing your passion, and I think that's really done.
Excellent.
So I think I'm very happy that now we have a team of about 30-35 people, and they're constantly working on monitoring biodiversity or looking at the impacts of this work on the forests and biodiversity, to link our conservation outcomes to business outcomes. And there is another team, Nature Connect, and other people who are looking at business side and
Certainly.
linking that. So it is I think it's extremely joyful work.
Yeah.
We have been
Ma'am,
doing.
I can't stop myself from asking this question, but I have to ask this because this is important for all our viewers. We have got this insight of what AERF does, how do we go about it, and what are the end results or the outcome. But I, as a viewer, how do I mean, yes, I would certainly like to know that what is the best way in case we want to go for the merchandise of these products, and how do we go about it? Is there a link? Is there a website? Of course, we are going to provide all of that in the description box. Uh, Otherwise, as someone who's working in a corporate or I'm an entrepreneur, how do we get associated with AERF, and how, in our own way, how do we contribute to this work? If you can throw some light on this.
Yeah, I think all this work which is developed, and I told you some numbers. How many acres and how many villages and how many tons of beda and hirda we are selling, and all that. But I think lots of nature lovers, they have been supporting our work. We have an initiative, web-based initiative called My Forest,
Okay.
where you can sponsor the protection of couple of acres of forest or few hundred acres of forest. Some companies are also supporting. Then we have Nature Connect India, which is marketing and developing and marketing all our products, and they are available. And all the stories also you can see on the website of AERF as well as Nature Connect India Private Limited.
Sure.
And then we are increasing our range of products, and many of the products are also available on Amazon.
Okay.
So if you just type My Forest, and you see many products of AERF Nature Connect. Another very interesting thing, if you want to come and join hands with us, you are all most welcome. All the listeners and those who
Viewers.
have taken developed some interest. I think you first come and visit. You first visit our website. You can call us, and then you can come and volunteer or intern with us, or whatever expertise you have, you can just come and work with us and contribute to make things better and better in future. Because though we have been doing everything, we fully understand that we don't have each and every subject matter expertise with us. So
Sure.
if somebody would like to contribute, you are most welcome.
Absolutely. So, dear viewers, we are going to provide the AERF and Nature Connect website links in the description box. We'll also provide the link on Amazon on My Forest, so we'll guide you on that, some kind of thing. And of course, as Dr. Godbole ma'am, Archana ma'am has already said, that those who are interested in volunteering, I think AERF is just a call away, ma'am, if I can say so.
Absolutely.
So we can always stay connected with them. This interview, ma'am, kind of takes me back to my early days when I started working with you on these environment projects and all of that. But ma'am, I know a couple of other things beyond AERF where you are an avid reader, and as all of you can see, this entire room, it's full of books and all of that. At the same time, ma'am is also a passionate author, and there are a couple of books. There are many books, in fact, which she has written. She has written a number of articles which have been published in Marathi dailies like Lok Satta. I'm going to specifically ask about two of these books which are my favorite. One of them is Nagalandcha Antarangat, where what the book was all about. I think let's hear it from her. And the other book which I would like to hear, since we are celebrating #Shakti, we are celebrating about women. So there's a book which ma'am has written about women conservationists, environmentalists, biodiversity experts. I think she's the right person to explain. So ma'am, what are these books all about, and what do the readers get out of them?
I think writing is my passion, and if I never went for doing conservation on the ground, I would have tried best to be the full-time author, and I write in Marathi because that's my mother tongue. I wrote an interesting travelogue based on my work in the Northeast for 6 years, and it is called Nagalandcha Antarangat, and people have really liked it, and it is a well acclaimed book, and I received few very interesting and well-known awards for the book. So if you read Marathi, definitely read my book.
Any plans of translating it in English, or?
Oh, so if somebody is ready to do that, please get in touch with me, and I'm happy.
Okay. So our viewers, if anyone wants, they can get in touch
sure.
with it. Those who want to
my
translate.
second book, Valu Tumatlele Thase,
Thase.
is extremely important because this is the occasion of Women's Day in month of March. in the field of environment, there are many, many women across the globe, who actually gave their life for work on environment and conservation. And in 2019, I wrote a column in Chaturanga, which is the Saturday supplement of Lok Satta, Ved Bhavatalacha, and I try to introduce many such women. And these women were different, we might be knowing a little bit about um, like Jane Goodall and Vandana Shiva and all that. But I chose women, who really spend their complete life in the forests or whatever, goal they have decided around the environment, and have been working irrespective of the results and response and support and anything. Granthali Prakashan has published a book called Valu Tumatlele Thase based on this column. And I think all these stories are inspiring for me. Whenever I feel little low or frustrated,
Sure.
I look at the life of these women, especially women like Anne Labustel, who spent 40 years alone in the forest in the US and wrote amazing books and tried every bit of her blood to save the forest and keep away the hazardous so-called ecotourism away. Then there are people like Nalini Nadkarni, who being a woman, all her life studied the canopies of the giant trees, and it's not a small work, and it's very difficult. So I look at these women, and of course, Jane Goodall has done lots and lots of other work beyond just saving chimpanzees in Gombe and what challenges she faced. And so all these inspiring stories are there, and I definitely request you to buy and read these books.
Sure.
You will enjoy. You will not be disappointed
Certainly.
with these books.
And I would also say, dear viewers, that not only all those who can read Marathi, I think it's a treat because I've read these books. And at the same time, I would say that yes, I'm seriously thinking that someone should really pick up the pen and translate that in English, because of the limited amount of time that ma'am has, and she's devoted to the AERF work. She hardly gets time. So someone should take this up and possibly translate. And definitely, since we are going to provide the AERF contact details, you can get in touch with ma'am on this. Ma'am, before we close this, I think one of the things which you don't like to talk about, I know for a fact.
No, don't say that. it's not that I don't like to talk about that.
Okay, okay. But you try to shy away from it.
Yeah,
Let's put it this way.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So, ma'am, yes, for a fact, I know that few years back you were invited by the ex-president of United States of America, one of the most popular presidents, if I may say so, Mr. Bill Clinton. And you were honored, you were felicitated. So, what was this all about? And I'm still a very cliched question. I would still want to know that how was the feeling,
Oh, yeah.
or how was the Josh, if I may say so.
No. See, there are no two ways, to say that it was a great opportunity to meet, Bill Clinton himself, and it was a great opportunity. Bill Clinton Initiative is an organization which actually picks and chooses some of the organizations working around particular themes every year, and they invite them to New York, and this meeting is linked with United Nations General Assembly meeting, which also happens in New York around that time, and they make it a point to pick up these people who are doing something different, something amazing, something worthwhile publicizing.
Sure.
In 2011 they invited AERF, invited me, because that year their theme was safeguarding forests and biodiversity, and especially they were looking at organizations and works that were being led by women. So therefore they invited me to come there, and this is the 3-day meeting where they also introduce you to a lot of businesses and see if businesses understand from you the amazing work you're doing and how businesses can support you. So that was a great opportunity, but of course it is not some kind of a funding, they just invite you, and yeah, I think that's really amazing. But I think working on the ground, facing the challenges every day is one thing, and going and getting felicitated on the behalf of your team is another, and I definitely like that. But I mean, sometimes when I talk to people and if they know about this,
Yeah,
they forget
like me.
everything else what we do, but they just keep this in mind, and they
Yeah,
get
I know,
overwhelmed with
I know.
that. So I think that was amazing experience, to go and shake hands with Bill Clinton. Why
Yeah,
not,
sure, sure.
And they also gave us that felicitation later, and yeah, I think it was very
Great
interesting.
fun.
I enjoyed that. Why not?
Yeah,
I
sure,
enjoyed that.
sure.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one thing which I learned from you was you have always spoken about gratitude. I remember you telling me as a youngster that, Girish, please remember your roots. Please remember the people that you have worked with, and those who have contributed to your development, your holistic development. Now, ma'am, after these 20, more than 25 years of this amazing work, almost 3 decades. So, what about that? I mean, gratitude, or who are those people? If you
I think,
like to
yeah.
talk about.
I mean, it's a very good question, because um, through my journey of 28 odd years now, I have learned from really, really great people, as well as very simple people who are from the villages, and till date I always remember many of them, most of them. Sometimes you do forget, but I think there are people who have made a great impression on you, and I think I always remember Jagdish very fondly. He's no more, unfortunately, but I learned everything, and I always remember him. Then in my early career, I met people like Dr. Daryl Posey, who was the very well-known, internationally known anthropologist from UK, and I learned quite a lot about ethnobotany and working with tribals from him.
Sure.
Then I learned from Professor S.K. Jain, who's known as father of Indian ethnobotany. Then I always remember Professor P.S. Ramakrishnan, who's working and has worked throughout his life with the local communities, indigenous people, and I learned to respect the local people's knowledge from him in early career of my life. He worked in JNU, and then many people like Madhukar Mule Kaka, or somebody from all these villages, or Professor Mandlik, who inspired us to have AERF. And I always feel, that everyone who worked in AERF in whatever capacity for whatever number of days, I think I remember all of them, because it was a learning this way or that way also from
Sure.
them. And I think um, it's very important to express your gratitude, and um, keep remembering the great messages these guys have given you. People like Ramakrishnan or Daryl Posey or Mr. Gokhale. Unfortunately, Gokhale, the resident commissioner of Nagaland, I mentioned in my last episode,
Yeah.
he's no more. He passed away due to COVID. But he was also a great source of inspiration for me, and he trusted us, And I think while leading now the youngsters, I always remember, that what these guys have given me and taught me,
Sure.
I should, give it to my next generation. So I always
Absolutely.
remember all of them very fondly, and those who are still there, I always go and see and make it a point that I'll be in touch with them.
Sure. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you. This was truly hashtag Shakti, if I may say so. And I'm sure all, not just the women, but I would say everyone who's watching this episode, this has been a great learning. I would say these 2 episodes, in terms of passion, in terms of leading, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of just going ahead and doing your part as for saving nature. So there are so many things which are there. We would certainly like to know in the comment box that what was your take on this. And as I mentioned earlier, we are also going to provide the contact details of Team AERF, and certainly we would like you to connect with them and their amazing body of work. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was, as always, it was pleasure meeting you. And on behalf of Team Learnamytes,
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thanks, everyone. I hope you liked my story.
thank you. So thank you so much, everyone. See you next week with yet another episode. Till then, please watch this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe Learnamytes. And remember the power of hashtag Shakti. Thank you.